Hey guys, today I found a new Reddit post from a user named NeedyPie98, and she's asking, how much should I be contributing towards retirement? Uh, Obviously, the short answer to that question is as much as you can, right? And of course, obviously, she has some more questions to ask and elaborate on this post. And I wanted to kind of talk about something real quick. Is that during my preparation for this video, I actually came up with I was doing some math and calculation, and I'm kind of excited to kind of talk about it because I never actually looked at it this way, but it kind of makes sense to me, and again kind of confirms that I guess there's a math behind what my assumptions are, which is really good. So, kind of want to hear your thoughts if there's anything, and if you guys disagree, please let me know, and we can kind of go from there. Um, Hi all, I'm 25-year-old female with zero debt, live at home, so my only expenses are transportation. Everything I make, I put it in savings towards buying a home. I was getting paid weekly, 1,056 a week. After reading so many posts about people saving, saying that you need to start saving for the retirement early on, I changed my contribution from 0% to 6%. My company offers 10% match in Roth. After making this change, my take home went from 972. My take home went down to 972 a week. According to my retirement balance, I contributed $90, and my employer contributed $9. My biggest issue is justifying putting the money towards a retirement fund that is 40 years away, when my main goal is to save as much money as possible to have a down payment for a home as soon as possible. I feel like I'm losing out on $300 per month and that I could be putting towards saving for a home right now. However, I keep reading that the people regret not having their retirement fund sooner. So I'm trying to figure this out, and blah blah blah, immediate goals. I appreciate any advice, honestly, because everyone in my circle says they are not saving for retirement, they don't worry about money, and that I just started working, so I shouldn't even be thinking about retirement. uh First and foremost, obviously, um you know maybe we gotta kind of reevaluate your circle with regards to the finances, right? With everything else, I'm sure there's a lot of value to it. But as far as taking the financial advice, I'm not so sure. Maybe you kind of need to or should thinking about reevaluating some of those or taking the advice from them. And the only reason I say that is because what you do now obviously has some sort of an impact in the future, right? Whether it's saving money, not saving money, investing it, not investing it, things like that. And obviously, you can't really say, hey, you just started so early, so you have years ahead of you, so don't worry about it. That just sounds like a too much of a like a blank statement. And of course, and I'm sure they mean I'm sure they mean well, but as far as preparing for the retirement and things like that is concerned, that is absolutely, in my opinion, it's just not a good advice. Um, Having said that, as far as the numbers and math and stuff like that is concerned, which is what you're really asking um, for this I did a little bit of calculation, and for this calculation, I made some assumptions. The first one is that that you will be purchasing the house about 3 years from now, regardless of the market, the housing market, and the stock market, and stuff like that. I wanted to kind of view things in perspective, and I just assumed that maybe it's just not a good time for you to purchase right now, or you just haven't had enough saved up. But I assume that you're going to be purchasing the house about 3 years from now, and obviously you wanted to save as much as you can. Um, and obviously you're going to be saving the money for the down payment, and after the move expenses, appliances, furnitures, and stuff like that. The other thing is that the stock market appreciation. I assume about 9%, and I'm going to be using that figure for the calculation. Just for a reference, the stocks, the ETF for a S&P 500, which is pretty well known, is the symbol is SPY, has about total return about 9.75% for the last 30 years. So up and downs in the market, it had about 9.75% total return. So Just kind of keep that in mind. I also use the high yield savings account, just in case that you wanted to save that extra money in one of those, in which I kind of calculated as about 4% a year. And the mortgage interest rates right now, what I'm just seeing on the Google and stuff like that, it's on average it's about 7%, but I think I used the actually about 7.75% for this calculation, just to be a little more conservative, just because I obviously higher the rate, higher the impact that the down payment has towards your obviously your monthly payment on the mortgage, and then you'll kind of see the reason why and kind of how it kind of helps in more conservative way when I actually do the math and kind of show you the numbers and stuff like that. Um, so I wanted to kind of show two scenarios, right? One, the first scenario is that how what you're currently doing, which is saving about $90 per week from your paycheck, plus your employer's contribution or the match, which is about $9 per week, right? Which is about $99 a week for 52 weeks in and divided by 12 months, which will give you about $429 per month, right? And compound that for 9% interest for 3 years, that turns into about $17,654.52. That's a really important number, and I'll come back to it a little bit later on. The second scenario, obviously, is that you're trying to save that same $90 per week, again, for the next 3 years, which in principle is about $14,000. But if you put that towards high yield savings account on a monthly basis, it'd be about $390 a month, compounded it at 4%. It would be about $16,379.89 for the next 3 years. So the way I wanted to kind of calculate it again is that if we were to use that $16,000 towards the down payment of your house, is that additional down payment towards your house, your new mortgage payment, whatever it may be, will be roughly down by about $117 per month, assuming 7.75% interest rate at 30 years, right? So it could be a little bit more, a little bit less. Obviously, if the interest rate is a little bit higher or lower, right, that will determine that. But again, as I said, I think currently the interest rate that I'm seeing on the Google is about 7% on average, with having a pretty decent credit score and this sort of things. So the impact that you would be getting by paying an additional $17,000 and almost $400 towards your home will give you about $117 in break. Now, so the math that I did was that if you were to actually use that, again, earlier scenario from the scenario one, where you had about $17,654, that will be in your retirement account. And fast forward 3 years, and now because you have an additional expense, because now you're a homeowner. Let's say you're not able to contribute any more money towards the retirement, right? And I wanted to run it for 30 years because your mortgage is going to be likely 30 years. If that's the case, again, compounded at 9%, because you're not contributing any more money into it, that would actually turn into about $260,000 in about 30 years from now. Versus, since you are able to, let's say, put that extra, money into it that you would have otherwise have to spend, that $16,000 in change. So now that you're saving $117 per month, now if we were to add that into a monthly contribution to your retirement portfolio now, because now again, it's an opportunity cost, right? Plus, if you're getting that 10% contribution or the match from your employer, right, that $117 per month turns into $129 a month. And then again, if we were to do this calculation for the next 30 years to kind of try to catch up on that retirement funds, right, and you start from zero, the next 30 years, that will turn into about $236,000. And so just for that first 3 years and your, contribution of $90 per week, if you say that's a lot of money, that's a lot of money. If you say it's a little money, it's a little money. But like you said, it's roughly about $300 per month for the first 3 years. Has a difference of almost $24,000, and that's with you not doing anything in addition to it. And again, this is at a pretty conservative figure because I think the your overall return on that investment should actually be more than 9 years, in my opinion. I mean, I'm sorry, 9%, in my opinion. Same thing with your the interest rate on your mortgage should be, I would think, hopefully, less than 7%, 7.75% when you get it. And same thing with the high yield savings account interest rates. Right now it's 4%. We don't know where it's gonna go, but chances are, if the economy kind of turns into what the Fed are trying to do, I would guess, I would think that the interest rate would actually come down on the savings account, just because the way things are. So, if that's the case, I think I ran the numbers pretty conservatively, and yet the numbers are still coming out better for you to actually contribute, that much money. And again, that's why I said, contribute as much as you can towards the retirement. And me personally, I just don't know if the purchasing a house at such a young age, and especially at today's market, and where it will be in the next couple of years, I just don't know if that's the right choice for you. Just because again, you're so young at 25 years old. So that's my thought. I'm not trying to talk about the real estate and stuff like that, but as far as the numbers are concerned, that's what I can kind of see. If you guys agree, disagree, has questions, or if there's an error in my calculation, I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys.